I came home sick from work. The scratching started before I even shut the door. Soft, rhythmic, like fingernails testing patience. I stood there with my keys still in my hand, fever sweating through my shirt, listening to the walls breathe. The house smelled wrong, bleach, old metal. Fear hides in scents you don't expect. "Rats," my wife said from the kitchen without looking at me. Her voice was calm, too practiced. Old house. I nodded because that's what men do, when they're tired and sick and still, pretending their lives make sense. The scratching came again. Not frantic, measured. I pressed my palm to the drywall. It was warm. I didn't think. I grabbed the sledgehammer from the garage, the one I used to break concrete when I needed to feel useful. Heavy, honest. The first swing split the wall open like skin. Dust filled my mouth. The second swing revealed an eye. My son's, tied, wrists bound to the studs. Tape on his mouth, pupils blown wide like he'd been living in darkness for days. He blinked at the light, struggled. Behind me, someone laughed. Not loud, controlled. My mother-in-law stood in the hallway, arms folded, smiling like she'd been waiting for this scene to finally be seen. "You're not supposed to see this," she said gently. My knees didn't buckle. My hands didn't shake. That scared me more than anything. My son's voice came out cracked, barely there. "Daddy, I'm not alone in here." He looked down. I didn't. Not yet, because my brain had already started, doing what it does best when something precious is threatened. Slowing everything down. Cataloging. Planning. This didn't start today. It started months ago. With late nights. With my wife flinching when I touched her. With my mother-in-law moving in temporarily and never leaving. With doors locking that never used to. I had told myself stories. Work stress. Marriage cycles. A kid acting out. Lies are comforting when they keep you alive. I peeled the tape from my son's mouth. He inhaled like he'd been drowning. "Did she hurt you?" I asked. He shook his head. "She said Mommy said it was okay." That was the moment the fever broke. Not with heat. With clarity. I finally looked down. The crawl space beneath the wall wasn't empty. Someone else was breathing down there. Slow. Satisfied. And my wife was still in the kitchen, humming like nothing in the world had changed. I stepped back, closed my eyes, and decided I wouldn't scream. I would understand, because whatever this was, it had been planned. And plans can be dismantled, slowly. I didn't rush. That's what surprises people when they hear this part. They expect panic, screaming, blood. They don't understand what happens when your mind finally accepts the shape of evil. It goes quiet. I wrapped my jacket around my son and carried him past my wife. She reached for him out of reflex, like muscle memory. I stepped just out of range. She froze. Her eyes flicked to her mother. That was the first crack. I locked my son in the car and told him to count his breaths. I said I'd be right back. I said it calmly enough that he believed me. Then I returned to the house. The scratching had stopped. The crawl spaceman crawled out on his own. He was smaller than I expected. Pale, familiar, a family friend. Someone I'd let into my home because trust is cheaper than suspicion. My wife finally spoke. "This isn't what you think." Of course it was. I sat at the dining table, pulled my phone out, pressed play. Audio, video, messages archived over months. Her voice, her plans. Her mother coaching her through it all like a chess match. Insurance, custody, disappearance. They hadn't meant to kill me. Just erase me. My mother-in-law stopped smiling when she realized how far ahead I was. I slid the folder across the table. Copies, cloud backups, emails already scheduled, lawyers already paid. "I got sick on purpose," I said. "Needed you to feel safe." My wife's face collapsed inward, like a building losing its supports. "You put my son in a wall," I continued. "So I put you in daylight." The police arrived quietly. No drama, just paperwork and the sound of handcuffs ending conversations forever. I didn't watch them leave. I watched my son breathe. Weeks later, the house was empty. I sold it. Didn't look back. People ask how I'm doing now. I tell them the truth. I sleep well, because monsters don't scare me anymore. I lived with them, loved one, and walked away with the only thing that ever mattered: control.